A man accused of abandoning dozens of horses in Mercer County pled guilty today in court.
Visitation's underway now for a Kentucky state trooper killed in an accident earlier this week.
And the special connection between UK's newest uniforms and one of history's greatest racehorses.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening and thanks for watching WKYT here at 5:30. A man accused of abandoning dozens of horses at a Mercer County farm appeared in court today.
Charles Burrell was arrested in June on 43 counts of animal cruelty. Investigators say he abandoned the horses without any food or water. Today in court, Burrell took an Alford plea for 9 of the charges. All others were dropped. WKYT's Hillary Thornton was in court this morning and has the details in our top story at 5:30.
Charles Burrell going before a judge, not admitting responsibility, but acknowledging there is enough evidence against him, entering an Alford plea, pleading guilty to 9 of the 43 counts of second-degree animal cruelty, a deal his attorney says he almost did not take.
He thinks that he's being railroaded. He thinks that it's unjust.
Burrell's attorney seeing the state of that farm and those horses firsthand.
Broke my heart.
However, he says his client feels he is not the responsible party.
I don't want to name names of people that he had relied upon and paid to take care of the horses who then double-crossed him.
Ultimately, though, taking that deal because his attorney says Burrell simply does not have the means to fight the charges against him.
It would take money. It would take money for a lawyer or a team. It would also take money on a change of venue. It would take experts to testify regarding condition of the horses. Too much money, thousands. He just does not have it. This basically is, he's broke.
Without the ability to take his case further, this deal still dismissing 34 of those 43 initial counts.
Seeing him just being charged with 9 counts of cruelty out of 43 horses, that was very, very disheartening, disturbing.
Sentenced to 179 days in jail that he will serve on probation over 2 years, during which time he cannot have any animals in Kentucky. He also forfeits his rights to any of the 43 horses seized, and his $4,300 bond payment will go towards care of those animals. In Mercer County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Burrell's daughter, horse trainer Maria Burrell, was also charged in June with 43 counts of animal cruelty. She is still avoiding arrest by staying out of Kentucky. Visitation is underway for a Kentucky state trooper who was killed in an accident.
Investigators say that 24-year-old trooper Mason Flynn died Monday after falling through a barn roof and hitting his head. He was off duty at the time. Our Garrett Weimer joins us now from the Center for Rural Development down in Somerset, where the visitation is being held. Garrett?
And the visitation here has been going on for about an hour and a half now, and folks continue to flock here, file in, and pay their final respects to Trooper Mason Flynn and to his family. The 24-year-old state trooper died Monday after investigators say he fell while helping a friend put a roof on a barn. Those who knew him tell us Flynn was always willing to help someone in need. He was a 2-year veteran of Kentucky State Police. Lots of state police cruisers and other first responders are here this afternoon for the visitation. Tomorrow's funeral is also here at the Center for Rural Development. The visitation started at 4 and the parking lot has been packed ever since, with a steady stream of folks coming to say goodbye to someone they all describe as a good man and a good example to follow.
He's 24 and had already, he was a state trooper. Went to school, done what he wanted to do, was making something with his life. So, yeah, and he was into church, really. He could quote the Bible, anything you ask him. He could tell you, take you right to it.
The funeral is scheduled for 11 a.m. tomorrow here at the Center for Rural Development, and Trooper Flynn will be laid to rest at the Woodstock Cemetery here in Pulaski County. Live in Somerset, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The family is asking for donations to be made to shop with a trooper out of Kentucky State Police Post 11.
This wet and gloomy weather looks to be sticking around at least as we head into our weekends.
That's right, but if you can be patient, it is going to change eventually. Let's check in with the man with the answers, meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
And we've got plenty of answers. We do out there for you. And the first one is it's kind of gloomy, and it will stay that way as we head through the rest of the afternoon and evening and even into tomorrow. You can see all the clouds hanging out with us and even light rain in many areas. It's 61 here in Lexington with winds coming in out of the north at around 7 miles per hour. And as we look at our Defender radar network, you'll find some more scattered showers thrown into the mix. Some even full-blown thunder showers have been working their way across parts of eastern Kentucky. 50s out there, low and mid 60s elsewhere. So we're kind of all over the place with these temperatures. Area of low pressure has been spinning and spinning for the past few days, keeping clouds around and the rain alive and well across most of Kentucky. And you can see it's doing the same thing again out there today. A couple of pockets of heavier showers right around Harrodsburg. You can see some of that rain. You go into Nicholasville and even into parts of Madison County with a lighter shower. So as we look forward here, we're tracking the rain through your Friday. Very dreary conditions again. The weekend, that same low that's spinning out there will keep the showers alive, but once we get toward the end of the weekend, it'll wrap up some, and then into next week, we're right back to where we should be for this time of year with those mid-70s for highs. I'll break it all down with the hour-by-hour forecast coming up for you in just a few minutes.
Jim, thank you. The case against a mother and son accused of murder may be resolved without a trial. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Madison County. 29-year-old Adrian Collins and his mother, 62-year-old Melissa Collins, were scheduled to be tried next month for the murder of Ronnie Kelly. Police say Kelly was shot and killed in October of last year at an apartment on Turpin Drive shared by the mother and son. According to the Richmond Register today, a Madison Circuit judge agreed to let the prosecution and defense try to resolve the case through mediation, which is similar to negotiating a plea deal, except with a specially appointed judge as an active participant between the sides. In Rockcastle County, crews have finished repairs on a broken water line that we reported about on Monday about a break in eastern Rockcastle water line. It was causing running water to stop for about 50 homes in that area. It took crews days to fix the leak because they were having a hard time finding it. But today we have learned that running water has been restored to all of the homes. And in Powell County, a judge has ruled in favor of a school board member who sued after registering for re-election in the wrong district. Evelyn Faulkner has served in Powell County for 16 years, but after she learned she had registered for the re-election in the wrong district, she sued to be placed on the correct ballot. The county attorney said the mistake was in Faulkner's paperwork. Faulkner claims the deputy clerk gave her the wrong information when registering. Today, a judge ruled in favor of Faulkner, ordering an injunction to put her name on the correct ballot.
To not have not have that, I guess, availability to me to run legitimately as an actual candidate, it really bothered me. So it's just a whole lot of convoluted stuff that surrounds that, but I'm overjoyed with the decision that Frank Fletcher made today.
The judge's ruling must now be accepted by both the county clerk and Kentucky Secretary of State before Faulkner's name can be placed on the correct ballot.
A Lexington restaurant that suddenly closed this week is now under investigation. According to our news partners at the Lexington Herald Leader, the Kentucky Labor Cabinet has opened an investigation into national provisions after receiving multiple complaints from employees who said they had not been paid in the last 2 weeks. Employees filed complaints with the Fayette County Attorney's Office yesterday. The restaurant owner announced the closure on Tuesday and blamed theft by an employee for the restaurant's money problems. The owner says he plans to pay employees as soon as he sells the restaurant.
Governor Bevin's office now plans to release funding for public schools needed to fill a financial gap. House Democrats held a news conference in the Capitol Rotunda yesterday where they claimed the governor had refused to release funding for the Support Education Excellence in Kentucky, or SEEK program. According to the Courier-Journal, the governor now plans to release more than $4 million to make up for the shortfall in the program as soon as the state's education department requested under a new budget. Senior staff with the governor's office told the paper they had met with education officials the past few weeks to help resolve the issue.
UK football and basketball players are wearing new uniforms this year, and among fans, there's always a lot of interest about that. Our good question tonight is from Cecilia of Richmond. She says, with the new uniforms, in making the choice, was there any consideration that the blue and white checkerboard pattern is reminiscent of Secretariat's jockey silks? I haven't heard that mentioned. That would certainly be a good omen for champions. Well, for an answer, I contacted Guy Ramsey, Director of Strategic Communication for UK Athletics, and he tells me your viewer has a good eye. Secretariat's silks were one of the primary inspirations for our own blue and white checkerboard pattern. We love the idea of the tie between our state and Secretariat, as well as the championship pedigree of Secretariat as a model for what UK Athletics is and what we want it to be. In fact, he says we hosted Penny Chenery, who bred Secretariat, at a football game last season, and have included references to Secretariat in our football intro video and in graphics in Commonwealth Stadium. Well done, folks. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@wkyt.com.
A new premier senior living community opens in Lexington. That story in about 6 minutes here on WKYT.
I'm Bill Bryant. Even longtime journalists have never seen the likes of the feud between Governor Bevin and Attorney General Andy Beshear. And Lexington will soon have a new city council member. The bottom line is on the way.
It has been another week of back and forth between Kentucky's governor and attorney general.
And now some political observers are calling this rivalry one of the most worst they've ever seen. Bill Bryant has details on the bottom line.
Good evening. The ongoing feud between Republican Governor Matt Bevin and Democratic Attorney General Andy Beshear is the most bitter division that many even longtime Frankfort observers can remember. The latest came this week when Beshear made public a text that had been sent to him from Bevin saying the Attorney General's office is becoming an embarrassment to the state. Bevin's office defended the text and said it was altered by Beshear before being released to the media. Jack Brammer has covered Frankfort politics for decades for the Lexington Herald-Leader, and he says he's seen a lot of battles at the Capitol, but nothing compares to this.
A governor with the Attorney General and being so public, it's being fought out in the courtrooms, it's being fought out in the media, in the public arena, and it just doesn't look like any end is in sight.
At this point, Brammer says he sees no truce in the making between Bevin and Beshear. It's looking less and less likely that you'll be seeing a televised U.S. Senate debate here on WKYT. Republican incumbent Rand Paul has not responded to the invitation of the League of Women Voters of Kentucky to take part in a debate at the University of Kentucky shortly before the election. His Democratic challenger, Lexington Mayor Jim Gray, has agreed to the debate. The League has set a deadline of Saturday, October 1st, to hear from both campaigns. Gray is scheduled to speak at a Commerce Lexington policy breakfast early tomorrow. And Gray has appointed a new council member following the resignation of Russ Hensley. Kathy Ploman will serve out Hensley's term. Ploman was running against Hensley for the 12th district seat. Hensley dropped out of the race and resigned his seat last week. Ploman is the former head of the United Way of the Bluegrass and a former sales executive here at WKYT. She'll be sworn in next Wednesday. Her name will be the only one on the ballot in November. The city of Richmond has hired a new police chief. James Ebert will be coming from the Frankfort Police Department, where he's now the night shift commander. Ebert starts in Richmond next month. And the vice presidential candidates are busy preparing for their only debate next week. CBS News will have the latest on the battle for the White House at 6:30. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A ribbon cutting was held today for Lexington's new premier senior living community. Magnolia Springs, Lexington is a not-for-profit senior living community off Citation Boulevard, offering both assisted living and memory care options. The facility offers several activities for seniors with restaurant-quality food, including a private dining room for private parties. The community can accommodate seniors from Fayette, Scott, Woodford, Franklin, Clark, and Madison counties.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
I can't believe it. I found some sunshine. It's all the way down in London right now, where they're starting to see a little bit of a break in the cloud cover. And temperatures are sort of responding to that, 62 degrees compared to some of the 50s they've had earlier. But all in all, seeing a little sunshine there, maybe even a little peak trying to get through the clouds here in Lexington as well. Our temperature not responding. It's still 61 degrees and 57 where it's thicker in parts of Rowan County there into Moorhead. Scattered showers around this area of low pressure have been common sight for the past few days, and that's going to continue right on into the first part of your weekend. We'll keep those chances alive. Low 60s, mid 60s, and 50s out to our east, where we're actually tracking some thunderstorm activity and have been for a while now. So the low spinning, throwing the showers around, and will continue to do so. And it's tracking a little more toward the west at this point, and as it does, it's going to yank some of those heavier showers and thunder showers that are in the east to the rest of us, it looks like, overnight and into the day tomorrow. Better chances once we get into the day tomorrow, though. Right around some heavier rain there into Harrodsburg, stretching just south of Lawrenceburg as well, with some light rain still falling in parts of Jessamine County. Also in eastern Kentucky, as I mentioned, we are watching round after round of shower and thunderstorm activity. Most of this moving toward the north through Martin County, Lawrence County, and beyond. So pretty active out there for us. Area of low pressure spinning, throwing that rain around it and all of those clouds that are associated with it as well, making a bit of a nasty look and a pretty raw feel to the air overall. And that's been the case past couple of days here. Now let's track the low. Watch what happens with it with our hour-by-hour forecast. There you see the rain increasing a little bit, then it breaks. We get into your Friday, and the shower coverage will continue to kind of ramp back up again. Low doesn't move a whole lot, but it's just all about the center of circulation, the exact positioning of that, which will then help to increase our rain chances going into your Saturday as well. And these cool temperatures aren't going anywhere until next week probably. We track the hour-by-hour run of that tomorrow afternoon, low mid-60s area-wide for daytime highs, and that comes after starting the morning in the upper 40s and low 50s. We'll do the same thing into Saturday morning, but on Saturday itself, again, more mid-60s out there, but you start to see the 70s showing up out to our east. They might have a little more sunshine, and as that low continues to track away from the area, that will certainly help the chances of that happening. Next week, it's all about the return of fun in the sun and getting things back to around normal, maybe even above that as well there by Thursday. But then we have some more activity that'll come later on in the week and change everything up again.
You had to search long and hard to find that sun today, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been looking at those cams all day, but found a little peak.
All afternoon, you're like, there it is.
Oh, finally.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Cleared most of our collisions out of the way. Police are still working one on South Broadway near Bolivar. That's a two-car non-injury crash. Shouldn't be a big factor getting past. I think we're going to be okay there for now. Drive times to Nicholasville still less than 15 minutes, keeping a close eye on Nicholasville Road in front of the mall. Also, Paris Pike looks okay. Police are running radar, but other than that, in pretty good shape there in and outbound. Just be careful if you're headed that direction. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Don. Just ahead, we will preview our game of the week, Rob.
Bryan Station in Lafayette. What does Generals coach Eric Shaw have to say about it? And how do the Cats feel about being the big underdog on the road as they go into Alabama? That's next on WKYT. The Wildcats face their biggest challenge of the season this weekend, going into Alabama, and they are coming off their best win of the year. The defense way better over what we saw the first 3 weeks of the season. Nobody is giving Kentucky any kind of a chance Saturday night, but the Cats like that underdog role.
Yeah, we do. I mean, there's a lot of teams that aren't going to give us a chance because we're Kentucky, and we've struggled a little bit, but we're getting better every week, and our only emphasis is to get better ourselves and as a team.
Big chance, playing on ESPN, 7 o'clock game, Alabama versus Kentucky, people are going to, people are probably not going to think we're going to win, but we're going to go in there and show what people, like what we really about. We're willing to compete with anybody, and we're going to show what we can do.
Number 1 Alabama in Bryant-Denny Stadium Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's on ESPN. UK center John Toth, a semifinalist for the Campbell Award. That goes to the best football scholar athlete in the country. 12 to 14 finalists will be announced on November 1st. They will all go to New York in December, where the winner will be announced. Tomorrow night, our high school game of the week is Bryan Station at Lafayette. Last year, both the Defenders and the Generals were blessed with tons of experience. This year, Bryan Station is rebuilding a little, but Lafayette's Eric Shaw says it's still a dangerous team.
They're going to look the same. They're just going to be young. They're still going to have great athletes and speed and be athletic, but they're young. They graduated some great players last year, so we'll see what happens.
Former Wildcat J.B. Holmes will make his second Ryder Cup appearance beginning tomorrow. Holmes made his Ryder Cup debut at Valhalla in 2008, the last time the Americans won the event. They're playing up at Hazeltine National in Minnesota. The track is long, more than 7,600 yards. It's a layout that could best be suited for a big hitter like JB.
I mean, it definitely helps. Whether if it's a major advantage, I mean, I don't know. There's some guys out here that definitely can move the ball. So, you know, it may give me a few more opportunities, but you still have to hit the shots and you still got to make the putts.
And here's what makes the Ryder Cup one of the great events to attend today. A fan at Hazeltine, David Johnson from Mayville, North Dakota, was heckling Rory McIlroy and Andy Sullivan. They kept missing a 12-footer on the practice green. So Henrik Stenson pulled Johnson out of the crowd to challenge him. Justin Rose laid down a $100 bill, and Johnson drained the putt, bringing a roar from the crowd watching. High fives all around. Never forget the Ryder Cup when it was at Valhalla, one of the best events I've ever covered. We'll be right back.